Still got a little bit of fish on us. Oh shit, yo, good job, man. There's Vince. Oh yeah. Show off. Tackle. Best tackle shop in the world. There we go. Nice.
You are looking at part of the 61 yellowtails caught today on the Thunderbird at San Clemente Island, as this is the best fishing at that island in 2024. Great fishing. Let's go out to the El Dorado and find out what they were biting on.
Phil, afternoon update there. We ended up with 27 overall. 27 yellows from 5 to 20 pounds. Best setup was a flatline sardine, 20 to 25 pound test. Few on the yo-yo jig, but mainly off flatline sardine. Talk to you later.
Hopefully the light switch is on. Great fishing at SCI on hard fighting, delicious eating yellowtail. Let's hope it keeps rocking again for Father's Day. Hey, good Sunday morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It is so great to be with you, and I want to wish all you dads out there a happy Father's Day. There is nothing in life more fulfilling than being a good dad, and so many of you take your kids fishing, take them out into the great outdoors, spend time with your kids. That means more in life than anything else you can do, so I salute you, and I hope today's a really special day for you all. As you can see, I'm fighting a really bad cold, but here we are. The show must go on. There's a beach hazard statement out for high surf and some rip currents that are supposed to be deadly. This is supposed to worsen. It's not too bad right now as you take a look at it, but it's supposed to worsen as the day goes on, and it's breezy offshore, but that didn't stop the bluefin tuna from biting. We've got great news from the bluefin tuna zone. Outstanding fishing out there. As you could see on the Pacific Dawn in our lead-in, they were biting and the wind was howling, and it was flat. Really great fishing last night. We'll be watching that very closely. Phil Miller is jumping on board the Apollo right now for a 3-day trip. We just got off that fantastic trip with him. Phil, the best of luck to you. And the biggest bite so far this year at San Clemente Island on yellowtail. We'll talk about that. That was really good fishing yesterday. Springtime evidence everywhere. White sea bass down there in San Diego, superior calico bass fishing up in the Channel Islands. We saw barracuda and bass and so much more. Hey, you know what time it is. Yeah, it's Father's Day, and it's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, is that good? And man, is it good to be with you here on this beautiful Father's Day. Hey, if you don't mind, hit that like button. That means the world to us. Really helps us a great deal. If you don't mind, share these videos with a friend and make sure you subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Click the bell. You'll be notified when there is new content. We thank you so very much. You can also catch us on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Apple Podcast, and Spotify. We deeply appreciate all of your great support this beautiful Father's Day morning. Well, let's get into it because there's some great stuff going on. We've already covered the Bay of LA. Some friends of ours are down there, Abdul Ryan, and they are flat putting the wood to a variety of different species. They think they may have had the first pop on Dorado in the Bay of LA. They caught significant amount of Dorado down there, and I think it's the first shot of Dorado for the season. So if you're heading to the Bay of LA now, you can add that to the yellowtail and the grouper and the cabrilla and the baqueta and everything else that bites down there about 400 miles down the Baja coast. Really great stuff going on. To all our dear friends in Insenada, Feliz Dia del Padre, a todos ustedes. Happy Father's Day to all our friends in Insenada and throughout Mexico. It is great fishing down there right now. Now, they're going to get some of this wind also, and it's a different issue for pongueros because they're smaller. But they've been getting offshore, and catching good amounts of bluefin tuna. Not every single day, but pretty good fishing, pretty good consistency on mostly 20 to 40 pound bluefin tuna out of there. They get out and they troll those Mad Max, get bit on that. That's probably 90% of the catching going on down there. But I would also go armed with some Colt Snipers, Daiwa Sakanas, jigs like that that you can throw on breezers. Now, with those same jigs, I'm talking about those 120-gram jigs that you're going to throw, you'll also catch a significant amount of nice, big, fat bonito that are running around down there also. If you choose to fish the Baja Coast, that pristine, gorgeous, beautiful Punta Banda area, as well as other areas, you'll catch good amounts of calico bass right now, and there's still rockfish around, and there's flurries of barracuda and sand bass down there. Springtime is starting to show up down there in Insenada. No doubt about it. That is looking really, really good. If you have tax problems, make sure you give our friend Tim Marquez a call today. Tim will take great care of you. And for heating and or air conditioning needs, John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. All right, let's talk about this bluefin tuna out of San Diego. And for LA Orange County based boats also, it's accessible to everywhere in the Southern California coast right now. It has been really good fishing out there. By really good, a fish per rod, 2 fish per rod. I mean, these fish are beautiful fish. Anytime, I didn't even think I'd ever hear this in my lifetime, when you start calling 40 to 60 pounders the small ones. It's mind-boggling how good it is. There's a significant amount of fish that get up over the 100-pound mark out there. A lot of it right now seems to be 25 to 60-pound fish. It's beautiful fish. Biting at night, best of all. You'll scratch a fish or two in the daytime, but really most guys go looking for something else to do in the daytime, like saying Clemente Island yellowtail bite or fishing rockfish on the 60-mile bank, because the daytime bite hasn't been that good. But last night, the Pacific Dawn had outstanding fishing. Those smaller profile jigs have been working best, but with this weather up, you might have to go to something like a 400 or 500-gram lure to get a bite. We'll see how that all plays out. But those HD jigs, West Coast jiggers, 350 grams, have been super effective. Daiwa SK jigs have been super effective. It has been biting nails here recently. We've seen some outstanding scores, and what a great night on the Dawn last night. Pacific Dawn with Mike Louse out of Fisherman's Landing in San Diego, putting the wood to him with some great fishing. The Liberty, 27 guys, day and a half trip, 35 bluefin tuna. Tribute, 54 bluefin tuna on a day and a half trip. Pacific, a day and a half trip, 31 bluefin tuna. And the Polaris Supreme, day 3 of 4 is up to 60 plus bluefin tuna. And man, when you factor in the size of these fish, that is saying a lot. 2 of those bluefin, that's your daily limit. And man, you get 2 of those and you got meat for the rest of the year. Really, really nice, great fish. 100-pound spectra, 200-pound leader material. About, well, the best way to gauge how much of that leader you want to have is that your jig will hook onto your reel and you can reel it tight. You don't want it too long, because if you come to the swivel and it's too long and the guy can't gaff your fish, you've got a world of other problems to deal with. So that swivel hits the top of the guide up there, then your jig should hook into your reel, and that's about the right length right there. That'll work really, really well for you. And dropping to the exact depth that the captain tells you to drop. I know I harp on it a lot. It's so very important in this game. John Garma, who was on our trip. Chris Ibarra, who was on our trip. Travis, who was on our trip. Those guys put the wood to the fish, and they all told me the same thing. They fished that HD lure, number 1, but they all told me they dropped to the exact depth the captain told them to. And those guys had outstanding scores, really, really big scores for those guys, and that's what they were doing. So keep that in mind. Outstanding bluefin tuna fishing right now. The nighttime is the right time, so you have to be on at least a day and a half trip. But the day and a half trips are starting to produce really, really well as we go through this. Hopefully it's going to continue. Now, day trips out of San Diego, they leave in the morning, come back in the evening, obviously are fishing in the daytime, and that's when it's tough. It's been very, very tough fishing for those daytime guys. They see the bluefin tuna, which just adds to the frustration, because you can see them either visually with your eyeballs or on the machines, the sonar, and they just don't want to bite. San Diego, 32 guys yesterday, 5 yellowtail, 4 on the bonita, seeing a lot of bluefin tuna. The other day, they had a 200-plus pound bluefin tuna on the San Diego. So when you're going, you have to go geared up, heavy tackle, 40-pound fly-lined outfit, and at least a 100-pound outfit in addition to that. A lot of that daytime fish, when it does bite, is going to be sinker rig fishing. They will show you how to tie that up on the boat, or just do a search here on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Do a search for best damn sinker rig, and Sam De La Torre at Island Fishing Tackle will show you exactly how to do it. But it's sinker rig fishing. Most of the time you're fishing 80-pound fluorocarbon to get a bite on that. GT Fork fluorocarbon from Promar Ahi is a good one, and you can get 10% off your order when you go to promarahi.com and put in FA at checkout. So once again, daytime fishing has been pretty darn tough. The islands at the Coronado Islands down there outside of San Diego, but in Mexican water, so you do need a passport to fish there. A lot of good rock fishing, flurries of yellowtail, some barracuda and big bonita there, and decent calico bass fishing for a few guys. San Clemente Island, as you saw in the lead-in, was outstanding yesterday. The Thunderbird, 61 yellowtail, and it's a mix in terms of the grade of fish, from 5 to 20 pounds or so. Really good on the fly line bait, 20, 25-pound fluorocarbon with a really good hot sardine was the ticket. There was some surface ironfish and some yo-yo ironfish, but a huge hit. And finally, it's been excruciatingly slow at San Clemente Island, as I have been describing to you all. It has been tough fishing there, but now hopefully the light switch is on. Freedom, 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California, 27 on the yellowtail. And the El Dorado checked in with us yesterday with 27 yellowtail. Other guys got a hit on it also. The Blackfish yacht out of Davies Locker, Newport Beach, only 4 guys, 15 yellowtail, 2 white sea bass, and limits of calico bass. That is some darn good fishing. Really, really good at Clemente. Good to see it. Springtime starting to take hold. We're going to have to deal with some breezy conditions off and on through Wednesday. It's going to get kind of nice, and it's going to blow up again. We'll keep our eyes on that for you very, very closely, but good to see that. Catalina Island, pursued out of 22nd Street Landing, has seen really good halibut fishing at time, lots of rockfish, few calico bass, and the yellows are starting to pop into the Catalina Island counts, from 0 to, say, 10 yellowtail on most days out there. Not wide open, but it's definitely showing some signs of springtime. It's been a slow start to the season here this year because we are transitioning from an El Nino, warm water, to a La Nina, now colder water. So that kind of has things in a state of flux, and I believe that cooler water has just made us move a little bit slower towards spring. But once we get there, obviously, it is going to be good. It looks like it's going to be one heck of a season. With slowly but surely, we are getting there. Up there in the Channel Islands, the white sea bass have been playing all kinds of games with us. One day they bite, one day they don't. What's new? They're white sea bass ghosts, and they have been doing exactly that the last couple of days. A lot of guys up there threw in the towel this day here on Father's Day because they have some very windy weather, especially the outer island scene up there. But Daniel Hadaway on the Island Spirit has just pushed away Ventura Sport Fishing a moment ago, and they are headed to Santa Cruz Island, I believe, and Acapa Island, one of the islands there. And fishing up there has been pretty darn good. We've seen a mix of great rock fishing. We get that occasional white sea bass bite, but we've seen more and more barracuda, more and more calico bass. Things are slowly but surely starting to come together as the water's getting a little bit warmer out there and the fish are starting to respond to it. Yesterday on the California, my good friend Cody Rogers, man, I'll tell you, they not only had good rock fishing, but they saw a lot of barracuda. They dealt with a little bit of weather, and it's going to get even better than this here real soon. They caught some calico bass. It looks ripe up there right now. Once we get through this windy situation, it's going to be breezy, as I said, off and on through Wednesday. It looks like once we get through that and get to some gorgeous weather, decent weather, it will get consistent up there. Ventura Sport Fishing, get on the Island Spirit, 805-676-3474. you're going to love the Island Spirit. She is such a great platform to fish on. Hey, and we got guys starting to come up in the. I wonder if this guy is the guy that was shipwrecked. Actually, he's a neighbor of mine. I know this guy really, really well. So we have been seeing some really good sign up there in the Channel Islands on the island scene. I love it very, very much. Catalina Island, want to go back to that for one moment and mention the El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing has been doing really well over there with a mix of that calico bass, a few yellowtail, some halibut, rockfish. You can get on board the El Patron by going to www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Make sure you do that today. We have a special June 24th trip coming up on the Island Spirit from 5 a.m. We return at 7:30 p.m. Jump on there by going to longbeachsportfishing.org. All right, let's talk the coast now, and we'll start in San Diego, where we have seen some really nice calico bass fishing. It's been pretty darn good for the new Seaforth and several other boats on the Daily Double. Look at those white sea bass, couple nice sea bass. They've been picking at the sea bass. There's a few yellows locally down there. They've also had some really good calico bass fishing. That is all good stuff to see. Moving up the coast, we see a little bit of bass here and there, but it is predominantly rockfish right now. We're catching sculpin, we're catching whitefish, we're catching sheephead, and then rockfish up and down the coast. That has been the majority of the game, but there are those little spots where we see some pretty good bass fishing going on. Marina del Rey, their nighttime twilight trips have been pretty consistent on nice big calico and sand bass. Really good fishing out of Redondo at times for some private boaters. Hopefully the local fleet there will get in on it. Here in the LA Orange County area, Long Beach, San Pedro, picking at a few bass, but not much. Our water just hasn't cleaned up to the point where that bass fishing should get even better. So hopefully we'll see some of that really, really soon. Flurries of barracuda, just off and on, not consistent quite yet, but there has been some of that going on. We've seen it in the Channel Islands, and we've seen it down in Insenada, as we mentioned. We've seen some of that in San Diego. So there is a little bit of that going on also. And then we're going to take a look at the Southern California surf for you. More and more Corvina starting to show up. Now, there is that hazardous beach warning for San Diego and Orange County beaches. Listen to me. I know it's Father's Day. You might want to take your son or daughter out on the surf, but be very, very careful about that on days like this. There are plenty of gorgeous days in our future, and people get washed off the rocks into the sea and perish every single year. So be careful about that. More and more Corvina starting to show up. There's still some barred perch. There's occasional halibut also being taken on like Lucky Craft type lures, or even chrome little jig like a Castmaster or a crocodile. Those have been working pretty darn well. We've seen some spot fin croaker being taken also in the surf here on bait. That's been the best way, and some yellowfin croaker also. And don't forget big fish bait and tackle down there in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. They can offer you all the tackle you'll need, all the bait you'll need for a successful outing in the SoCal surf. And they have a monthly tournament that is free. You do have to buy the ruler at Big Fish Bait and Tackle. You go in and buy your ruler, and then every month it's a different species that you're fishing for. You get the biggest one. You get a brand new, beautiful custom rod. You can hardly beat that. Keep that in mind, my dear friends. Big Fish Bait and Tackle right down here in Seal Beach, California. All right. I can't believe I made it through that with my throat and feeling kind of like crapola here this morning, but it is Father's Day, and I am going to go out and celebrate Father's Day today. I just want to take the time one more time to tell you how special you are to me, how great you are for being such great fathers, and how much it means to the community in general that you do that. There's nothing more important in life than being a really good father. All right, my friends, have a wonderful Father's Day, and I hope to see you really, really soon.
I was helping another angler with a fish. The fish started biting, and then all of a sudden I just heard somebody scream. I looked over, and she had boots in the air, holding on to the rod, bent over the rail, just almost in the water. And then we had 2 gentlemen step in immediately and pulled her back on deck.
And Chad and Mackie, they had to react in a split second, didn't they?
Split second decision. Yeah, split second.
How close? She said her face was literally a couple of feet from the water. She was all the way over.
Yeah, I would say probably a foot actually. She was. When I saw that, I was thinking one of us is going to have to go in and grab her. So she wasn't going to let go of that rod.
But her husband made that rod for her, so she wanted to hang on to that.
Totally understandable. But what's great is that in the end, she ended up landing that fish.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the cool thing is, what could have been a disaster now becomes an awesome memory.
And a great story, too, to tell. So.
Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome.
Chad, what happened last night? Jesse almost went overboard. Where were you, and what did you see?
I just so happened to be standing right next to her, and all of a sudden I see a rod in between the legs. She's getting pushed over the side.
Pulled over, right?
Pulled over the side.
By a big bluefin.
By a big bluefin, probably 60 pounds or so. And my just natural reaction was to bear hug. I think we had an assist come in, grab her by the legs, and we all held on for dear life. She didn't lose the fish, and she wasn't going to let go of that rod. So I don't know how safe that was, but that's the route that she took. You know,
the rod was a gift from her husband. He wrapped it for her, so
her
she was.
Birthday gift, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, how close did she come to going in the water? In other words, if you didn't grab her,
I would say her nose was about 2.5 feet from the water. She was about 80% over the side of the bow.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
So you don't grab her, she's in the water.
Totally. I barely grabbed on. And I don't remember who came in for the assist.
This guy, Mackie.
Somebody yanked on her legs, and group effort, we kept her in the boat.
Dude, way to go, man. That's an awesome story. And thank God she's still with us, right?
Absolutely. She's fishing today, right?
Chad, great job.
You got it.
Thank you.
Got it.
Hey, Mackie, you know who I see sitting behind you? Jessie. And one of the reasons she's sitting behind you, look at her back there, is because you were one of the rescuers. And I'm not kidding. She was going overboard. What happened last night?
All I saw was boots while I was filming. Boots in the air, and I was like, oh, is this real? So I went over there, dove so she wouldn't go in, and then brought us both down, and we both fell on our butts inside the boat. So it's good. She got the fish. We got some funny footage. We got a great story for this trip. Come on Friedman Adventures if you want to be saved. So,
I love it. Hey, when you say boots in the air, where was the rest of her body? Was it on the other side of the boat, like on the water side?
If this is the rail, this is Jesse. This is Jesse, and that's all I saw was boots.
Wow. And you got an assist from Chad also, right?
Yeah. He held on to her like this, and then we just saw boots. And I was like, oh, shit.
And so I asked Chad this same question. Without you jumping in there, is she in the water?
I think so. She's still holding on to that fish, and she's going to Mexico.
Oh, my God. And to prove that she's still with us, Jesse, wave hello. Everybody wants to know you're still alive. All right, Mackie, good job. What the heck? You almost went overboard.
Yeah,
what
that
happened
was
out
fun,
there?
huh?
I came up, and Mackie was pulling you up off the deck, but everybody on the boat is telling me that you were heading overboard. What happened?
Yeah, no, my body was definitely on the other side of the boat.
Really?
Yeah.
So what happened? The fish just took a run?
It yanked me real good, and then I just kind of went on over, but that was my birthday rod, so I wasn't going to let go of the rod, so I hugged the rod, and somebody grabbed, I think
it was Mackie.
Mackie, yeah, but Chad, the deckhand, he got me also.
What, like grabbed your legs?
Somebody got my legs, and they just brought me down, and then Chad took my pole and gave me a second to steady myself, and then I was right back on it.
So were you like going?
No, I was legit on the other side of the boat.
Would you have gone in the water if they didn't grab
100%.
you? Oh my God.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know, the sad thing about it is Mackie wasn't rolling video then.
No!
Yeah, if you would have gone in the water.
That would have been so exciting if I would have gone in the water.
And you got your fish, a big fish.
Of course, yeah.
How's that feel?
Yeah, it's good.
Man, I'm so happy for you.
First tuna of the season, it's good.
I'm happy you're on board still,
Second
too.
tuna on the boat.
Yeah, I know. And you're not soaking wet.
Nope.
And you didn't have to take a swim in the deep blue.
Nope.
Good job.
It was
Good job. You want to say hi to Tori?
Hi, Victoria. Hi, Armin.
All right, you guys, you should be proud because she did a great job. Good job.